Y'all should have learned with Puff. Y'all should have learned with Hov. Y'all dealing with a different kind of animal here.
And his mentor was
Andre Bell.
Tell us how
he was mentored by Clive Davis.
I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in a building where the person whose life he had influenced.
They finally get a chance to run. Then all of a sudden everybody don't remember them.
That's one of Diddy's MO. One of his former record executives met with him. And I guess he was trying to pray with him or whatever. But he tried to give him a pill.
Yeah, man, I'm here because Clive Davis called me. Him and Puppy is real tight. And, love. So I started something like that. You got love for each other. He said, well, why you keep saying that? I said, look, all these, you said it was love type. He down with that what it means, right? I said, okay.
You know, with Puffy in that time, or the tunnel. These are places that a 13-year-old probably should not be. That's not what I was there for.
The streets are buzzing with some major spilling from none other than Kanye West. Easy himself just exposed Clive Davis as the mastermind behind all the shady stuff Diddy has been up to. According to Kanye, Clive Davis was Diddy's mentor and is the real puppet master pulling the strings behind Diddy's wild antics.
It ain't looking too good for Diddy, but I want to get into this Rolling Stone article, right? They did like a 6-month investigation on Diddy, and they confirmed that Biggie was leaving Bad Boy.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I tell everybody that Biggie was preparing to leave Bad Boy, and everybody was saying, how did I know? I told them I seen the contract. Me and Biggie had a conversation the week before he died. I was in the Winnebago, and Biggie was telling me his whole life story, and I was telling everybody I didn't know why this kid was telling me his life story. It's something that he had to feel. It's something that he had to know for him to sit there and tell me the stuff that he told me, bro. You understand? He wanted his marketing and his publishing back. That he said that the management that he had at the time, Mark Pitts and Wayne Barrows, who were Puff friends, basically talked him into selling his publishing to Puff. You know what I'm saying? And when I spoke about it, people told me, well, how he knows? I'm getting it from the horse's mouth. He's telling me the story. I already read all his contract when I was on a plane coming to California. I told y'all Puff gave me a briefcase. I ain't got shit else to do. Click. And read the contract. And at the end of the contract, it said, we will revisit your marketing and your publishing at a later date. Puff is going to have him sign the contract for, I think it's Life After Death, the double CD, without giving his publishing and his marketing back. So now Big, he's about to go, I think it was Capitol, he was signing a deal with Capitol. You understand? With all those different groups. And Puff was not, listen, Kirk Burrows said that Puff told him, man, you'll be dead before I give you all your publishing back. Wow. Never seen that one.
I didn't hear about that. So you said two of Diddy friends told Biggie to give him his publishing?
Well, Mark Pitts and Wayne Barrows, they were doing the management. Those are Puff friends from college. Mark Pitts and Puff went to Howard. I think Mark probably graduated, I don't know. But his stay at Howard, then he came to work for Puff. They were both, all of them was trained by Kirk Burrows. Now they all executives, either in the music business or Big's estate.
So what's going to be looking out for what Biscuit did?
Why do you think Bad Boy never got sued? Why do you think Ms. Wallace never sued Bad Boy or Arista? Because the same dude kept that lawsuit out of her mind. They did not have enough security or proper security for the Notorious Big in the height of the East Coast, West Coast war. What the media had already planned out to be, it was a war. Pac had died. There was gang violence on both sides. Why you think Ms. Wallace never sued Arista or Bad Boy? Because her management, Big's management, the people that took over their estate, was all friends with Pac.
And you feel like she should have sued her for bringing Biggie out to LA with a lack of security?
Bruh, I was a New York State parole officer, and I also was an investigator. When I first got out there, I called Kirk Barrow. My man, we don't have enough security. There's not enough security here. I got Puff, Kenny got Puff, Paul offered has Big, and Kenny, I forgot Kenny, Baylock or something like that. Kenny Baylock has, there's this guy named Kenny Baylock. Paul offered, and some cop from LA got Big. Two people for Puff and 2 people for Big. Now they got entourage. People around us in the entourage. How do you look out for all those people? Arista did not provide proper security for Big. At the video shoot they did, because they had these militiamentary men, and they were on top of their game. And they only hired 3 of those. So Big had 5 people doing the video shoot. After the video shoot, he only had 2. The whole time, he only had 2. Come on, get out of here. Wasn't enough security. Arista should have been sued, and Bad Boy should have been sued.
Speaking of that, Rolling Stone, they revealed that Diddy, he was fighting with, Biggie attorneys before Biggie died over the publisher.
Well, he didn't have to fight on him. He owned him. Biggie mother was trying to get his publishing because she knew that's what her son wanted. Puff wasn't gonna get that up. Hell no. Do you understand what? I think Big probably, did he go diamond? Did that album go diamond? He sold 10 million copies? You know what the publishing is on that? 1 point is worth about $1 million. 1 point on that album is worth $1 million. So if he owned all what he owned with Bad Boy, plus what he owned Big 24%, Bad Boy automatically take 50%. If he got 75% of that, and 1% is worth $1 million, that's $75 million he get off the rip. My numbers could be wrong. But damn. Oh no, this is a whole lot of cheddar, bro. A whole lot.
We all know Diddy wasn't always this ruthless gangster, but we know he was tangled up with Suge Knight. Real bad, he even called some of the shots Suge Knight did.
2 weeks ago, I'm outside my office. My assistant comes up and says, Suge Knight wants to speak to you from jail. I said, who? He said, Suge Knight. The Suge? Yes. Gotta be kidding. No. Get on the phone. We have a great conversation together. He says, hey, I watched your podcast. I want to come on and do the longest podcast and speak to you about any questions you may have about Diddy, Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac, what's going on with music industry, etc., etc. So then yesterday, we have the podcast that we do. He calls in 6 times. Each call is 15 minutes. We have to edit it because he is calling from prison. And we had a great conversation together. The things he said to me about Diddy was very interesting. He says, do you think Diddy independently picked up these habits, or do you think somebody taught him? And who taught him? He dropped 2 names of who he claims that taught Diddy these bad habits of what to do with boys. And he says Usher can stop it because there's something that he... And then he brought in, we talked Tupac, how the difference between him losing Tupac that cost him money versus the difference between Diddy losing Biggie, it made him money. And the feud and the stuff with Dre at the end when Dre was going to get 50%, $60 million, how that whole arrangement worked out, and how the negotiation with Eazy-E what he said about Eazy-E's feud with Dre that I had never heard before. Anyway, if you're somebody that follows hip-hop, you know the whole story, because a couple weeks ago, Dame Dash on, so that was a whole different conversation that we had. If you're somebody that follows these things closely, I had Greg Hating in the past before telling me exactly who shot Tupac Biggie, because I'm curious, the detective that did the background on this. You're going to be glued to the phone to hear what Suge has to say. Because when Suge answers, sometimes he goes like this. You just kind of have to hear what he's trying to connect the dots. But if you speak that language, you'll kind of know what Suge is saying. And there was a couple parts that he could be Canadian. But with that being said, here's Suge Knight on TV Podcast. All right, so we have a special guest here with us today. Suge Knight from R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, prison in San Diego. Suge, for those of you that obviously follow hip-hop, his background, co-founder of Death Row Records, at one point $750 million of generated revenue. I think one year they sold 60 million records, 150 million total records sold. They had some of the biggest albums ever, signing Eazy, Snoop, Dre, Tupac, Nate Dogg, Corrupt, MC Hammer, Warren G. The list goes on. Suge, it's great to have you on the podcast today.
Hey, great being on here.
And I appreciate that. By the way, one of the things I think is important for the audience to know is the fact that you just said, look, whatever Pat wants to ask, I want to have all the conversations, any questions, nothing's off the table. Is that correct?
I like that. But one of the things that I always feel, if you ever go to something and have a platform, it's about telling your truth to the next person's truth. We have generation.
I agree. By the way, Suge, did you by any chance, before we get started, did you ever have a chance to watch the Cat Williams podcast with Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp? Did you watch the whole thing?
Well, number one, as family. At the same time, I'm in the penitentiary to watch that. But I heard about it like the whole world did. I heard it was a great interview.
Now, let me ask you, Suge, your experience with Cat. If for the audience, you and Cat have hung out, who is Cat to you? Is he a stand-up guy, good friend, relationship, guy that you could trust?
So I can trust him.
Okay.
And I don't say that about too many people, but at the same time, Cat is who he is. And if you really want to understand Cat, he on tour right now, go buy one ticket for a roll. I can definitely find out about Cat.
Even from there, you're selling tickets. You can't, no matter where you're selling. No, the only reason I asked this question is because when he did this interview with Shannon Sharp, and I know you played in the NFL before, when he did this interview with Shannon Sharp, everywhere, everybody was talking, but also people were quiet. I want to play one of the clips, Rob. If you can play the clip of what the Cat said to Shannon Sharp about Diddy. I just want you to hear this since you haven't heard the whole thing. This is just a snippet of what Cat said about Diddy. Go for it.
Big is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TGJ, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Now, when this came out, he went after, Diddy. He went after TDG. He went after a lot of people in the space. Had you, Cat, and Diddy, did you guys ever party together? Three of you guys. I know you and Diddy spent some time together, but did you, Cat, and Diddy ever spend time together?
I'm not gonna say I never had a threesome. I damn sure ain't had no threesome with the men. You talking about have men?
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Threesome, you shit, not me.
Well, listen, that is becoming every day something new pops up with. It's no longer a surprise now. But I guess the question I'm asking is, did you, Cat, Diddy, and Cat ever hang out where? And the reason why I'm asking is where you actually personally witnessed some of the accusations that Diddy is having, saying the fact that he had cameras in the room.
Okay. Well, this is the thing I will tell you. We from two different worlds. Number one, you and I. Number two, I'm the guy that didn't want to fight to this point. I'm mad up. Never been happy to be left out of my life. But at the same time, I'm not the guy who's here for Puffy's downfall.
I don't know why is this not used as incriminating statements to put Diddy away.
But I am the guy who supports the victims who got victimized, right? But at the same time, whatever the situation is, everybody knows it's wrong. And I don't think you can get punished as hard as the regular person because, you know, he used to be an FBI informant for a long time, they say. So I'm quite sure that's pretty road.
You're saying
ask the question, he can't punt. We had no reason to be hanging out. We keep hanging out in the punt. That's that.
Got it. So you're saying Diddy's an FBI informant and he's been one for many years.
I would say nothing ever happens to the student. Like I said, it ain't my business. But I said that because anybody else can get up pretty fast in a hurry. But you know, the most important thing about this is that for me, you got some people who will have a people on something either they want a part of or they want there. And I never want to be that type of person. Because you know, there's only so many people who are Tupac or seeing Tupac or talking to Tupac. And I feel that way because I often hear so many Tupac stories from people who never met him, even wasn't around. Then you had the ones that if they worked at McDonald's and they took Tupac orders, you know what I mean, they know Tupac. Or if you could do security or whatever, I mean, you know them. All these people been benefiting and capitalizing on trying to put the man down or lie on him or tell the stories that they wasn't there or they know anything about. Because I don't think none of these people psychic. And I'm not, you don't have to relax like the big bitch. She and whoever her name was, the fake rocket boys, you know, had married with all was bad. So I don't like expecting that. So I just tell the truth how it is.
Now, from your perspective though, you actually spend time with Diddy. When you used to go to New York, you would spend time with them and he would spend time with you when he would come. You guys would go hang out together with obviously other peers. Did you notice anything around Diddy where you said, this is a little bit, you know, obviously there's a woman, you're having a good time, you're partying, you're doing your thing, but did you ever see anything where it was out of line where you said, I think this guy likes men or I think he likes certain things that's a little weird?
Well, all due respect to Tucker, you gotta realize one thing. He didn't start off like that. I'm quite sure somebody taught him that. And that's more deep in the industry. These guys who got involved with a lot of people who they mentored, instead of having guys to mentor your own father, or they was having guys to mentor. And that happened in the industry. It was done to him, they do to the next person. So I felt this Puffy was a regular, normal guy. And then when he started hanging with the guys in the industry, they did things to him. And then allegedly, he did things to Usher. It goes on and on. But we got to stop this pointing the finger at the person who gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Where did it start from? But see, people don't want to touch on those angles that just started being major executives who run these labels. So you guys want to speak on people who got thrown on the bus. Sacrifice land.
Okay, well, that's actually very insightful for you to give that perspective. So if you're saying what Diddy did to Usher or what Diddy did to Bieber, that we've seen these videos, not necessarily what he did, but the stories where he's living with them at 13. If he was their mentor, who was Diddy's mentor? We know some of the big names. I'm just curious if you have any names. You don't seem like somebody...
But number one was Clive Davis. And you got to understand one thing. Death Row, when I started Death Row, you gotta remember one thing. I didn't have no co-founder, nobody else. I started that company on my own and grabbed Dr. Dre. At the end of the day, it was like this. When you have, the Universal was one big company. Doug Morris was the man at the time. Jimmy Iovine. If Doug Morris gives Puffy a deal worth a whole lot of money, and the album didn't recoup. Otherwise, they should like Pop didn't recoup. They're not going to give you no new money, but they don't recoup the old money. But Puffy was able to go to the same umbrella and go to Jimmy and get this much shit, even bigger check that Doug gave, even though it have not recouped. Only certain people can get these type of favors. Now, in my situation, I didn't do anything to lose my company. I didn't do anything illegal to get my company taken away from me. They was able to commit fraud on my company, but it ends up to the hands of people who want to buy my company for $500 million, $700 million. I kept saying no, and then turn around, they can get block everybody and end up giving it for what, 20 or 30 million.
Imagine this ninja was Cat Williams' manager. There's always ruthless behind every famous character we see, and for Diddy, it was Clive Davis.
Well, I spoke to Kirk Brown, and he told me some shit, bro. There's some things that I didn't even know about way back in the past. You know, like when the City College tragedy was going on and everything, and Diddy was on suicide watch. You know, Kirk Burroughs was like, yo, man, I should have saw, he told me he should have saw this coming with Cassie and the way he treated women when he slapped his mother. And I was like, he did what? And Kirk Burroughs said, yeah. I just thought because of what he was going through with the, you know, the tragedy, it was like, I was stuck on stupid for a minute, but he was like, yeah, I thought that he would grow out of it, or it was just because all the shit he was going through when he slapped his own mother. I said, Kirk, let me tell you something. I said, Kirk, don't you remember when I told you when he cussed his mother out? And I think he was even that, Kirk. When he was getting in the limousine, he cussed his mother out. He told his mother to stay out of his mofo business. And I told him, man, you ever talk to your mother? You remember that situation? He said, yeah. I said, Kirk, why you didn't tell me then that he cussed that he slapped his mother? Because if you would have told me to slap his mother, I'd have beat the shit out of him, Kirk. He was like, Gene, I thought you got to realize he was just a kid, and I thought he was going to grow out of it and all the stuff that he was going through. I said, my man, that's a bunch of bullshit right there. You understand? Somebody should have whooped his ass way back then. When you do your mother like that, you don't care about no woman in the street. And he was like, I know, Jimmy, but he was just a kid. This came from Kirk Burroughs' mouth himself. I was like, yo, that's just crazy. Had I known that back then, yeah, I wouldn't have worked for no dude like that, man. I wouldn't even F with him. I'd have told all the dudes in the same gang, and we probably would have beat the shit out of him when he came around. Nobody was going for no shit like that, man.
He slept his mom?
Bruh, according to Kirk Burroughs, he was in a depression. His mother was trying to do something, and his mother was saying something, and the nigga slapped his mother. You know, I said, yo, and I know everybody gonna say, yo, why this shit coming out now in the whole 9 yards? This is a part of why he do the shit that he do to women. And people gotta understand that. This is the part of why he do the things that he do to women, bro. Because if you do that type of thing to your mother, you know, I heard him curse his mother. I checked him on that. But had I known he put his hands on his mother, I don't give, excuse me, sorry about that. I don't care what kind of thing that he was going through after the City College tragedy. Man, it'd have been a real tragedy for us.
Yeah, that's wild, man. To put your hands on your mom, man. I don't know what to say about that. That's crazy. But speaking of Kirk Burroughs, he did an interview with LA Times, and he said that he saw Diddy punch a female back in '94 at Bad Boy offices, to the point that they broke a coffee table and he had to break it up.
Well, Kirk Burroughs would know. Him being the president of Bad Boy at the time, and he cleaning up a lot of puff shit. You know what I mean? So if anything went down, Kirk Burroughs would know, but Kirk Burroughs would be the one that had to go in there and mediate and clean up all the shit that he would do. You know, but like you said, that, you know, he thought Puff would grow out of this shit because he was so young, being in that type of field and having that kind of position.
There's no compassion for a man who smacks a woman, as it should be like that. I wonder what would Diddy do to get back to the entertainer who everyone once loved.
Which is crazy. If you add all that type of stuff up, and you will see how the industry is built on the secret room. The people who don't participate in the secret room is the people who later on get burnt. The people who participate in the roles, they continue to grow. Even when they get caught, they're not really caught. because obviously the puppy knew they was coming to raid. Security wasn't there. We used to have like 6 Muslim guys doing security. They wasn't there. A lot of people wasn't there. How do people know all these things? It wasn't just coincidence. You know? So it's easy to point the finger, but let's look at the whole thing and talk about somewhere you're going to educate everybody. You have to think about it.
We were talking about Clive Davis and some of these music executives that taught maybe somebody like a Diddy and others. Is Diddy at a level of being untouchable where he's protected, or is Diddy a target that they'll eventually put all the blame on him and make sure they get away with it free?
I mean, he's definitely going to be the black motherfucker holding the bag. you gotta realize one thing. That boy life is dangerous. His life is in, he's just not dangerous with the shit they say he's doing, but he's in danger. He knows too much. One thing you gotta realize is he probably having a conversation right now with the higher ups and everybody else to figure out how it's gonna work himself out. Because he know all the secrets. And if he gets to run his mouth, it could be a bad look. I look at it like the most important thing is the industry needs to be built over. You have all these executives there, somebody's the father, the grandfather, all this type of stuff, and they don't give people the opportunity to grow and learn. I know when I first started in this business, it was a machine. I had to be the machine. I had to figure out how to get more souls already. Because at that time, they was getting 5%. But that chicken thing was popping champagne dollars. I went from 95% of the songs you hear on the radio with my songs into 97%. So you had to really do all this thing and really do the work. And once the work was known it could be done, and I was generating this type of money for the people I was involved.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They wanted to be hip hop because the difference was that Michael Jackson was being, say, $75 million, $50 million before he sell one record. So he was $75 to $50 million a band. He might spend $50 million. He might spend $100 million to make it down, and $5 million on a video. I was spending $50,000 to make it album. I was spending $50,000 on the video. I was spending $150,000 to promote it. So, and if I sell 3 million records, and Michael Jackson said 3 million records, or if he sells 10 million records, I'm gonna make more money off my project than his project because I'm spending less money. Because I was the machine. So once they realized I was the machine, when they can have a machine like that, the majors wanted that I started with one of my artists. But when they took my artists, they got control of the industry. Everything went from $50,000 to $50,000 to make an album to fucking $5 million to make an album. Until these guys having all these dancers and all this extra shit, all the surgeries and all the extra shit, right? So in the end, they blew hip hop out the water so much that they're going to start cheating for everybody to eat. So we had an artist, and the only thing they had to do when they was with the machine is show up. Show up for the interview, show up for the photos, show up for the studio, show up for the video. Now that's being taken away because all these people been using all these artists. And at the end of the day, the artists are just broke. Or now you have different Spotify stuff or Apple or different ones, right? Straight. Who is making the count or policing the stream? So how you know they're not saying I got 5 streams and you got 1?
Right.
Or private label, nobody has no way of knowing that. So now the artist can't have that machine to be certified cash anymore for making money. So they all going crazy. So now everybody's coming on everybody. Everybody's drinking more. Everybody's doing more quiet. Everybody's doing those little sick little moves and guys waking up with their butt sore. That type of shit. Girls waking up, they don't know where it's at. So everybody's stressed the fuck out because the machine is over. So now they just need to be real and put decent people in the industry. Haven't seen that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with what you're saying, it's very important because you had a business model that is costing them money. You're spending less money, you're making more profit, you're making them look bad, and they're supposed to be the executives, the professionals, and you're the amateur building up a company on your own without a background. You didn't go to school to learn how to be an executive, and you're building a business doing $750 million. Here's a question for you. In the financial industry, you'll hear many times they'll say, you know, these companies are part of the too big to fail. For example, we can't let AIG go out of business. We can't let Bank of America go out of business. We can't let these guys go out of business. Is Biggie part of the too big to fail, or are there people way above Diddy that are part of the too big to fail that they'll always be protected? Specifically when you say higher ups.
Well, you got to look at it like this. Puffy is one of those black guys who's probably more fear of white America than black America. We feel in black America, we pass all that. They can't get to him. In white America, you got to show them some respect. Are they going to take him on the gas? Press him down, because when you really look at it, Ciroc was a great company that gave Puffy the opportunity. I think he gave him $1,000 to get in. And then he was able to make all this money. And then he wanted more and more and more. And the first time, they didn't allow him to throw a tantrum, even with the stuff that people hit in with probably. So he told us, hey, you racist. You motherfucking racist. They said, yeah. You know, I often say that I was raised in Compton, and I was made in Vegas at UNLV. UNLV taught me the opportunity to be around people that was dignified, that was loyal, that was happy. And that's where my lessons came from. So I understand business better than most people. That's why I ain't never been in no damn videos. So at the end of the day, when Puffy went at the alcohol business, I used to play football with John Kennedy Jr. almost every weekend. One of the best guys I ever met and hung out with. We used to play football. But that being said, he come from a bootlegger family. Most of the big guys from a bootlegger family. You know, the alcohol. These guys is smart enough to be humble and wide enough to be aggressive tough. So when Puffy challenged him, and they knew Puffy lived in a glass house, his house came tumbling down because there was rockets coming to that glass house. And the simple fact, when he called those guys racist, and he had those hidden secrets, they ain't just found out that the things Puffy was doing. They ain't just found out how the industry is. They haven't just found out how they pick and choose. They're part of the government. And I say that because that's why they were so easy to smash motherfucking Puffy down. And all the people that Puffy fuck with, they can't say that because they're part of it too.
If they go after Puffy, and rumor has it Jaguar, right, all these other names of Leroy, Little Roy, all these guys, hey, and Little Rod, there's cameras in every single room, and he's recorded, and now he's got all these footage. Think about if he's got footage of all this talent with these too big to fail companies that are relying on these talent to keep producing. What happens if Diddy threatens them and says, if you do anything to me and I release this to the world, you're going to lose billions of dollars?
No. You got to be included. The best talent we have in the industry right now is some of the talent you guys never heard. There's a lot of guys all around the world. It's the world's best kept secret when it comes to music. People are starting to use their friends or artists who play the game. You know, basically, they don't allow because they did everything that these people wanted. If they sold it.
Suge Knight is just spilling everything out here. You know he still owns the streets when he's snitching on everyone without a second thought of what would happen to him.
On part 2 of Suge Knight's podcast, this last one, he made a comment saying that Diddy had been an FBI informant for years. With you and him talking and stuff back in the day, did he ever talk about that before, or is this the first you're hearing of this?
How would Suge Knight know that? It's so funny how everybody know who FBI informants is, and the only reason you know because you're an FBI informant and all that. Y'all think informants don't talk. They don't tell stuff in advance of what's going on. And it's not like informants are generally not known like that. Now, I know that people that made those accusations about Diddy being one of the ones, and Jay-Z going back and giving up the information on him when they were talking about formalizing the Lucky 7. That's what I always heard it was, the distribution company, when they were trying to make a seventh big major distribution company. And so I know some people made that accusation, but that, because they, Puffy didn't get indicted. I think Maureen got indicted at that time, and then they were messing with Suge at that particular time. And then we all know what happened to Jay Prince. But if we look at all three of their situations, we understand why the feds went after all three of them if we're keeping it real. But I do remember, and Suge, I'm going to make you remember, Suge and I were in New York one time. It was just me and Suge. We was on our way actually to meet Sam Snead in Pittsburgh, I think he was at. For some reason, Sam Snead wanted Suge to come to Pittsburgh to meet his father. And we were on our way to go to Pittsburgh. But we ended up not going. We ended up going to Rochester, New York. Not Rochester. Into where JoJo and KC from. Somewhere in North Carolina. But we were on our way to meet Sam, and we didn't go because Puffy called him at the last minute. And this is like before Pop. This was like 90, sometime in 95 though. And we went to his office. We went to Bad Boy's office. And I remember we going there, and in the meeting, I was in the meeting for some reason. I don't know why I was sitting in there. But Puff was complaining about how did, man, these feds are on me like crazy. How did you get them off you, Suge? Because I know they've been following you. And man, what can we do? What can I do to get them off me? And Suge gave him some bullshit. They probably wasn't on us at that time. I don't think they were. I don't think they got back on us until after the Tupac shooting, which would have been in 96. But at one time, they were on Suge. And so Suge told him some shit about this or that and gave him some look, but they talked about it. So Puff did believe in like 94, 95 that the feds were following him around. Now, we also heard stories, and I know y'all gonna tell me in the comment section that Gene Deal went down to the federal government and he was aware of it and told something about Suge and them or something like that. Oh, but my point would be, people don't know if it's informants, and if he was an informant, who do we have some paperwork on? Who has he put in jail? Who's went to jail with anything concerning Puffy that we know of? So I'm not here defending Puffy. I think Puffy is the biggest slime ball. Well, not the biggest, but a slime ball. But I don't know where Suge gets that from. Suge has called Snoop an informant. Snoop did not testify throughout the statement before, but I don't believe he was a federal informant. Puff, everybody, I guess, Suge has been called down to the federal government before. I have been down to the FBI office with Suge before, where they had brought him in and called him in. Now, it was generally because one thing y'all don't know is when the FBI on wiretaps and stuff like that, and they hear threats against your life, they can't sit on it. They got to notify you. And Suge has been notified at least 2-3 times by the FBI that
there's somebody that had a threat on his life, that they overheard a threat against his life being made on some phones. So that would be my take. My only thing would be when she's making statements like that is, how the fuck would you know? And then, if you believe that, if there's evidence of that, who went to jail behind that? I get called being a federal informant and all of that, and number one, I can't be an informant. I was an ex-cop. But number two, who, other than me being a cop, ever went to jail behind something that I informed on? Y'all pull that paperwork up and y'all show that. Every time I went to court helping niggas. And so, that would be my take. It's just everybody always being accused of being an informant. That's our go-to word. You're either an informant, a snitch, or you're a faggot. One of the three. Right? It's unfortunate that that's the world we live in now. That's the go back. Or we fuck your wife, or we fuck your bitch. Got about those. That's our go-to. And so just when y'all hear stuff like that, y'all just remember that. Y'all put that into, put that into your thing. And think about that before you start spitting out or believing what people are saying just because people throw that out.
And we all talk about it, but they always had a conversation about it, and I always say the same thing. I always say, well, you had Illuminati, and then they have the Masons. The Masons believe in God. The Illuminati believe in the devil. The Illuminati in Germany, Russia, wherever, they believe on men on men. They don't mean they part of the gay community. They mean they just overpower each other. And it might sound crazy, but at the end of the day, that's why no great talent. There's a lot of great talent out there, but some of the best talent is not having the opportunity to get in the door. Because the people with the secret society is messing around with each other and messing with people's heads. And then when you, like I said, a person like myself, I'm the only guy in this business, or especially a black guy. You see why I started my company. From either a chick from Solar or Epic or Priority. These are real companies. Time Warner or Interscope, right? That publishing money, different stuff. That's how I started my company. Then you can have Rap-A-Lot, do a whole book. Well, Jay Clinton do a book, must be his word. I started my company with drug money. If it's murder, they can say that. If it's cash money, they can say that. So they say. If it's, what's the other thing, DJ popular, No Limit. No Limit can let it be known every penny he got paid for drug money. And the list can go on. Puffy. That Bible story was the drug money, and they just missed it. And Obama gets this, is supplying his money out as a favor. So, look at this. All these people say that's how they started their name, that's how they built it. But I'm the one that came through the race. And I didn't start my company shut down. Their brother started, what I just said. Even when they came after me, they committed fraud, bankruptcy fraud, RICO, everything you think of. But since it was a machine that would get artists before anyone else, they had to get me out the way. Not only would I get an artist from anyone else, I can take your artist and make him a star, a superstar that you couldn't do. A lot of guys get artists and bring their career down. I got the artist and made their career down. Same way I did with Tupac. And Tupac stood for a smart young man, a gifted young man, who wanted to save the world. Eventually it cost him his life. Eventually you'll have guys who will speak about Tupac who never met him. They said they was Death Row, never was there. Or they might have been security for Death Row, or the car wash for Death Row. They never met Pac, and they would say they want negative things about Tupac. They'll tell Tupac stories. It's all designed to make these people feel they're the one who's working for the industry who keep having the same old talent. Now I've been doing the same old songs, same old ass artists. It's like warm soup all over again. Give opportunities to these young generations who really are the best, who got the guy get talent. That's what we're missing in the industry. And fire all old heads part of secret society. You got executives making more money than any artist or any label right now. You got Taylor Swift is popular, way popular. But you have an artist or an executive at Interscope or Universal or any places, right? Why do they got more security than Taylor Swift? She on tour busting her ass, and they making just as much money as Taylor Swift and got more security than Taylor Swift. That seems like something wrong with that picture.
Well, what point are you trying to make here when you're talking about the Freemason and Illuminati? One is driven by love, the other one is driven by God, and the other one is driven by the devil. What do you mean when you're saying these guys are selling their souls? What does that selling your souls mean?
Because most of the time when they go to these meetings at the major energy districts at these companies, they joke and talk about this type of thing. And regardless if they believe it or not, it's always a joke.
It sounds like you're somewhat defending Diddy a little bit and protecting him and putting more of the onus on some of the guys at the top. But if I just want to ask one question. If you were to...
I'm going to quote you right there.
Go for it.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
There's no fuck. Me and Puffy, not friends, never will be friends.
Okay.
And damn sure ain't scared of him, I ain't scared of nobody but God. It's not about I'm protecting him, I'm going to tell the truth. I know a lot of stuff is true that he been caught doing, but I'm not going to tell you something I was in the room. If I was in the room with that motherfucker, you shouldn't be talking to me, because if you was in the room with Diddy, I wouldn't be talking to you. You was in there to me telling you, take that. You think me you go because I'm a baby? I'm like, no. At the end of the day, I believe in what I believe in. Once say it twice, don't say it at all, But whatever you want to ask me, I'm going to let you finish asking the questions, because I'm here because I love the fact that you guys do, because it's a way that we can communicate, and not only that, to build hip-hop, we can build the world or United States. I can't even go to the next country. I can only go all in my backyard, and I'm a part of this.
And Shook, I appreciate that. Shook, for somebody that's the hip hop world today, to be able to do what a lot of these executives did that taught somebody like Diddy, is that even possible today? Meaning, did social media fully eliminate that business model where the next generation of young talent are now protected?
No, nobody's protected yet. But okay, we're going to talk about that. All right, listen. It was a guy named Barry Gordy. You know who Barry Gordy is. Now, I went in the room with Barry Gordy, so everybody knew that Barry Gordy keeps both sides of the fence, they always say. So Barry Gordy was the guy who had the Jackson 5, who additionally conned Michael Jackson because Joe Jackson was a jail witness. They say, Michael, you come hang with us, you can get told. They might got Michael some more than told. Then there was Quincy Jones line. And you know exactly what I'm going with this. Next thing you know, Michael Jackson allegedly he started partying with younger boys. So where did Michael Jackson get it from? And you wouldn't have a problem to say Barry Gordy was touching on Michael Jackson. You wouldn't have a problem to say that Quincy Jones was touching on Michael Jackson. And you wouldn't have a problem to say that Michael Jackson was touching on the little boy. But what the problem come in at, and we start talking about the Clive Davises and the other people, and it goes down to Puffy, that's where the buck stops at. Shit, Puffy the black ass sacrifice lamb. At the end of the day, Puffy the Beyonce to them. Shit, they ain't tripping. But if you don't stop the cycle, it's going to keep happening. Somebody need to go visit Usher right now. Say, Usher, it's not too late for you. You know, you hear a few other guys you brung on, but not too late for them either. But at some point, you gotta stop the head, or they'll keep.
We love to hear what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like and subscribe.